The gender war won't stop until we have clear gender roles. Look, men and women are more confused about each other right now than maybe ever before. And if you listen to the noise online, everyone wants to blame dating apps or toxic social media or say that people are just worse than they used to be. But I don't think that's really it. I think it's just way more simpler than that. We just lost the script. We lost the gender roles. Think about how it used to work. Love it or hate it, the roles were clear. Everyone knew their job description. Men were expected to be the ones to step up, to pursue, to provide, to protect, right? You were the initiator, not because men just sit down and decided that, but because that's what society, culture, and about 1,000 years of history told you to do. And women, the expectation was to be the anchor, nurturing, warm, the emotional heart of the home. Now, look, you can agree with those roles or think they were total garbage, whatever. That's not the point of this video. The point is that when you have a script, everyone knows their lines. But then the script started to change. And here's the catch, it didn't change for everyone at the same time. Starting around the 70s, the world sent a very loud, very clear message to women. You don't need the old script. Suddenly, staying home was a cage. Depending on the guy was a weakness. The new goal was independence, a career, and finding yourself. And this wasn't just a few people talking, it was movies, musics, school, and the economy all saying the same thing at once. And honestly, women listened. They adjusted, they redefined what it meant to be a woman on their own terms. Most people would call that progress. But while the world was cheering for women to change, something weird happened to the guys too. While women were being told to drop the old way, men were still expected to perform the old way. You're still expected to approach, to lead, to be the provider. But here's the kicker. Now, when a guy actually does those things, the very things the old script required, he's often told he's being pushy or alpha or toxic. So men are stuck in this impossible damned if you do, damned if you don't loop. If you're traditional, you're outdated or aggressive. If you aren't traditional, you're soft or told to man up. Naturally, when people get punished for their behavior, they stop doing it. They pull back. They stop approaching, they stop trying, and that's exactly where we're sitting today in this massive standoff. Think of it like this. Imagine a world of squares and circles. For forever, squares were blue and circles were pink. Everyone knew what to look for. Then the world says, hey, be whoever you want. Colors don't matter. The circles listen, they turn yellow, green, or red. They love the freedom. But when those circles go out to find a partner, they're still looking for a blue square. And the squares are doing the same thing. They're wandering around looking for a pink circle that doesn't exist anymore. Both sides have changed, but neither side wants to admit the other side changed too. And the most frustrating part about this is no one signed up for this. There's no law that says men have to pay for dinner or women have to be nurturers. We've spent decades telling everyone to be an individual, to do you. And we did it, but individualism has a massive side effect. It kills uniformity. You lose the shared expectation that made dating predictable. Now we're just two group of individuals standing on opposite sides of a room, pointing fingers and shouting, "Why aren't you following the rules?" So how do we actually move forward? It comes down to three things. Stop treating your wants like laws. When you say men should do X or women should be Y, you're just stating a preference. That's fine, but stop getting mad at people for breaking rules they never agreed to follow. Start over communicating. The old script is gone. You can't assume anything anymore. If you want a traditional dynamic or a 50-50 dynamic or whatever, you have to say it out loud to the actual person in front of you. Check your own standards. If you want a traditional partner, ask yourself, are you being traditional? You don't get to be a modern individual but demand a 1950s partner, right? It doesn't work like that. The gender war isn't going to end with a winner. It's going to end when we realize there isn't a war to begin with. Just a bunch of confused people looking for a version of each other that doesn't exist anymore. The old roles are clearly not coming back, but I think that you can find clarity in your own life if you're willing to have an honest conversation instead of a cultural argument. It's not as easy as the old script anymore, but I think it's the only way that actually works.